Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome along to another episode of the SIL Review Show, the series in which we sit down and look at all of the weekend's results and action to see how that impacts the league table in the top 4 divisions of the SIL. The feedback and support was amazing on the first episode, so thank you so much for that. If you're enjoying the series and you really want this to continue, make sure you hit the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And whilst you're here as well, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, so every time a video is released you'll get an email notification letting you know that it has been released. But without further ado, let's get into the senior division. There's a lot of top of the table and relegation clashes we need to go through, especially in the second and third division. So yeah, let's get into the senior division. So here is the league table and the results from this weekend's action. Normally I have a before shot, but this week I've just been so ill I completely forgot to get that kind of stuff prepared, so apologies about that. But here are the results and the league table. Let's go through some of those, or go through those results rather. The game I mentioned on Twitter as the one I was looking forward to was the clash between Old Newton and Claydon, which resulted in a 1-1 draw. And the other game I mentioned was Henley versus Copplestonians, which resulted in a Henley 2-1 victory. With those results, it keeps Old Newton and Claydon, well, they are level on points with each other, other than the fact that Old Newton have got 3 games in hand on Claydon. But apparently the conditions were really tough, really windy. Probably would have been for most games, to be honest. But that's the feedback I'm getting from this particular game, is that it was very tough for both teams to be able to play their natural game. And as a result, it ended up in a 1-1 draw. For Henley, they are what you would say would be the leading chase on Crane at the moment. So they picked up a 2-1 win against Copplestonians, who are a tough opponent to play against, and that keeps them in the chasing pack. Some of the other results, we have got a Bennell 1, Capel Plough 2 victory for Capel Plough, which then moves them, 3 points clear of Bennell at the bottom of the table, so they're now in 10th place. We've got a 6-2 win for Hawley against Bilderston. I thought that would be a closer game. I haven't heard anything from the actual game in terms of how it went, what the swing of play was. But for Hawley to pick up a 6-2 win away from home, that's very impressive. And they now move into 3rd position in the table. It's a very, very impressive win. And they, with their game in hand, they're only 4 points behind Henley. So they're going to still want to, keep that momentum going into the second half of the season. But a great victory away from home for Hawley. Well done, guys. Bourne Vale picking up a 4-2 win against Achilles. Achilles are just they've gone through a lot of changes this season, and they're just trying to keep themselves on on an even keel, I would say. But a much changed team, and Bourne Vale coming out in 4-2 victors in that one. So they now move 5 points clear of Achilles and up into 8th place as a result of Bilderston's loss. We've gone through the Henley and the Old Newton game, and then a 2-1 victory for East Burgold United, who are now up into 4th place, just sneaking up the league table without too many people kind of keeping an eye on them. But there they are, up in 4th. They beat Trimley Red Devils, who continue to struggle this season, but it's a great win for East Burgold, and surprise package there. I'll have to come and check those guys out soon. Westerfield then lost 4-1 to Crane. They were losing 3-0 at half time, but drew the second half 1-1. A very, very competitive game in the second half, which I think is what new Westerfield manager is after. I spoke to him on Twitter personally after the game, and he said that he's obviously only been there for a short period of time, but he's very, very impressed with what he's seen from the boys. And it's just about, they're now trying to get a bit of an injection of life back into that club after a difficult start to the season. But the signs are there that they're building something where even if they go down this season, the blocks are in place for what could be potentially happening next season. But a tough game against Crane. They're going to give everyone a match in this division. And as a result of the league table, Crane are now unbeaten in 15 games still, have not lost, but they've got their 2 draws on their name, and they are 8 points clear of Henley, with Hawley and Old Newton kind of chasing behind them with games in hand, and East Burger, as I said, stuck up into 4th. Relegation wise, potentially I think it's only going to be the one team going down, as I said, as a result, and that's still Westerfield on -1 point. Hopefully we can start to see over the next few weeks some more signs of improvement and giving us a bit of a competition at the bottom of the table to make that relegation battle a little bit interesting from a neutral's perspective, at least. So moving into Division 1 now, a relegation scrap was my game of the weekend from Division 1. I said that Bacton and Kesgrave was the one you needed to keep an eye on, and boy, was I right. I love it when I'm right. Bacton won 5-4 against Kesgrave. They are now up into 10th place as a result of Coddenham losing 4-2 to Sporting. But from Bacton's perspective, if I look at some of the results, Mendlesham lost, Barham lost, obviously they beat Kesgrave, and Coddenham lost. So from a Bacton perspective, that is a massive, massive victory. They're now in 10th place as a result of that. Looks like a very, very interesting game. And to be honest, if I was recording, that would have been the one that I'd gone to anyway. But yeah, 5-4. Wow, what a victory. If you were involved in that game, let me know how that went in the comment section. We talked about a Barham defeat. They lost 5-0 to Wickham Market. It was a bit of a local derby. Well, I suppose all of them are around this particular area. But built up to be a local derby on Twitter, and Wickham won 5-0. My dark horses are still in the chasing pack for the top 2. Keep it going, guys. Keep that momentum going. I'm enjoying that. Obviously not from a Barham perspective. I like you boys, so don't take that personally. Coddenham lost 4-2 to Sporting 87. Sporting are always going to give everyone a tough game. They're now 4 points behind Wickham Market. They've got 2 games in hand though, so again, they'll be wanting to keep pressure with the top 2, and Sporting are very, very capable, going on a massive run and potentially causing, you know, a bit of an upset for the top 2 later on in the season. We then saw Halesworth continue their good run of form this season. They beat Grunsborough 4-2 away from home. Very good victory. They're still 3 points behind Ramsons, but they do have their game in hand. But again, only lost 1 game this season. They've been superb. Southwold keeping up the pressure as well. They've got 3 games in hand on most teams, but they won 3-1 away at Stanton. To still only be 1 game that they've lost this season, I find is very impressive considering they went up last season. We then had Stowe Falcons beating bottom of the table Mendlesham 4-1 at home. That's a good victory for Falcons. They're up into 6th place. Wow. No, they were already in 6th place. Yeah, they were already in 6th place. They solidify that 6th place still. But that's a great win at home. But for Mendlesham, just another defeat. It's now 12 defeats out of 15. Deary me. But due to the fact that other teams are still, you know, they're still losing their games as well, they're not out of it, not by any stretch of the imagination. And the final game is a Ransoms 3-0 victory away from home against Wen Hastings. Again, from a Ransoms perspective, only the 1 defeat, 12 victories out of 13, a plus 48 goal difference. Those guys are on absolute fire at the top of the table. But yes, we've got Ransoms and Halesworth keeping up their momentum. Wickham, Sporting and Southwold all behind them, again with Stowe Falcons, and then there's a bit of a gap to the middle clustered teams, and then we've got that, well, it looks like still a 5-team relegation scrap at the bottom of the table. Bacton picking up a much needed victory, but the bottom 4 then losing as a result. Very, very interesting stuff in Division 1. Division 2 now, and the league table has been blown wide open as a result of some of these results from the weekend. I said my standout fixture was the Brantford Road Old Boys against Tattingstone, and that result, 3-1 victory for Brantford, means that Brantford now move up to 3rd in the table. They're 3 points behind 2nd place, but Tattingstone lost their first game of the season. Unbelievable. 13 games has taken them to find a defeat, but BROB, superb victory. You have to kind of take your hat off to them. That Tattingstone have been on fire this season. They've been really, really impressive. To pick up that victory, as I said, it just means now that the league, from a neutral's perspective, just gets kind of, you know, blown open, and we can, you know, hopefully see more of those kind of results and keep the table interesting from a neutral's perspective. But as a result of that victory, as I said, they move up into 3rd place. But Bedfordshire took full advantage of that particular result. They won 6-3 against second from bottom Thurston. So Thurston gave a good account of themselves. 3 goals away from home is no mean feat, but still 6-3 victory. You would have to say that was pretty comprehensive from Bedrixworth, and they are now 4 points behind Tattingstone with 2 games in hand. So maybe top spot is not guaranteed for Tattingstone, who knows, but I'm sure they'll bounce back very quickly. We then had a 1-0 victory for AFC Yorshirts against Cockfield United. AFC now on 20 points, up into 5th place. Ipswich Athletic getting a much needed victory against Stonham Aspel in a bottom of the table clash. They now move above Stonham Aspel, and they've got 3 games in hand on them as well. So you would like to think from an Ipswich Athletic perspective they will start to move clear of the bottom of the table now. But a much needed victory. We then had Curtin Athletic winning 7-1. Where Curtin against Somersham. Somersham obviously bottom of the table, so on 0 points. But Curtin, they're in 8th. So they now move up to 8th over Cockfield, who lost, as we mentioned. And then the final game from the weekend was Saxmundham 2 and Wolverstone 2. A mid-table clash between these 2 teams, and it finished even Stevens. Yeah, 2-2 result in that game. But yeah, top of the table now gets very interesting in Division 2. So only 2 fixtures in Division 3 to talk about from a league perspective. From a cup perspective, we had Kesgrove Kestrels beating AFC Alton 4-1. There was Ipswich Exiles beating Bramford Athletic A 2-1. We had Kendenham beating Worthing 4-2. And it looks like Leiston A beat Stage on penalties after a 1-1 draw. So they went 4-3 on penalties. And then Melton versus Walton Wanderers, who beat them 6-0. So that, from a cup perspective, if that was a league game, that would have been a 1st versus 5th clash. And Melton won 6-0. That is incredible. But the 2 games to talk about in the league was Bardwell, who are in 7th, beating Hope Church in 6th. So I think Bardwell have had a points deduction at some point during the season, but they're now 2 points behind Hope Church with 2 games in hand on Hope Church. Anyway, there's 2 games in hand on Hope Church. And then the other result from the division was a 9-3 victory for Ockhold against Ipswich Valley Wanderers. Oh, okay, Ipswich Valley Wanderers, yeah, bottom of the table, only 1 draw out of their 10 games, but a -59 goal difference. But yeah, Ockhold picking up like a very valuable win, and they moved themselves up into 8th place above Stage, who didn't play this weekend as a result of that game. So not a huge amount has changed in terms of the league table, but that's a very impressive win for Ockhold. So my performance of the weekend has got to go to Bramford Road Old Boys for a 3-1 victory in Division 2 against Tattingstone, who have been running away with the league. Last 2 games have drawn and now they've lost, so it does open up the league table, but from a Bramford Road Old Boys perspective, that victory moves them up into 3rd. You can't underestimate how important that result is. I would have picked Backton, but I can't look beyond BROB for their weekend performance. But what was your performance of the weekend? Let me know down in the comment section below. That'd be very much appreciated to hear what happened in your game. If you want to get involved in future episodes, like a lot of you have, what I need you to do is direct message me on Twitter and I'll explain what it is I need from you. Effectively, I record these episodes on a Sunday, so what I now need from you is to send me reports through on a Saturday, so that I can put those into the videos as well. That'd be much appreciated. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always informed of when a video is released. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, as always on the channel, adios.